Welcome to the Reckoning Brothers podcast with Mark and Scott. Mark is not here. We're doing some afternoon tea with our producer, Josh, whose chest hair is apparently
Oh, don't say that.
sticking out.
How I gotta restart it?
No, there's no restarting. You said
No
your
edit?
chest hair is sticking out. I don't know if you're going to decide to show your video on these or not yet, but just so everyone knows, he's got ample chest hair. Mine
It's,
kind of, you know what? Look, just so you feel better.
do you have hair? I can't see it.
There's chest hair there.
It
Oh
doesn't
my
look like
God. That is chest hair, man. There you go. There you go. That's what we want to see. That's
Yeah.
what the people want to see, man.
Is it what they want to see? I don't think so.
That's why hopefully people tune in. And if so, that's probably the reason why. But, I want to start by, I guess, thanking you. You and Mark convinced me to join Twitter last night when we were talking. And I did join this morning. So I'm now an official Twitter person.
You're welcome, and I'm sorry.
Yeah, I will. I may get super pissed off at you in a couple days when I go full into TikTok and go full balls into the internet world.
I
But
would recommend against the TikTok full balls, but whatever. Yeah.
I will take your recommendation. Josh, I have something I want to run by you, as we do in these afternoon teas.
Shoot.
Something I was thinking about. Our generation growing up, we were the self-esteem movement kids. We're within a couple years. I think we were both there. At least my generation, I feel like we were taught in this self-esteem generation where it's important that kids have a high self-esteem. I remember hearing this all the time growing up that, oh, your self-esteem needs to be high. You need to feel good about yourself. This is important. I think that is a plague on our generation. I think it was horrible. I think it caused our adolescence to last about 10 years longer than it should have. Me, myself, I don't know how you feel, but I feel like I wasn't even really an adult till I was like close to 30. And I think that's pathetic
Me
looking
too.
back.
Yeah, absolutely. Probably didn't feel like an adult. I still don't feel like an adult half the time.
Yeah,
I'm
me too.
43. What are you?
Yeah, 42,
48.
same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a well, you referenced TikTok a little bit there, but there's a lot of I'm adulting now videos where they're like,
Yeah.
I still have to call the adultier adult. I have to call my mom.
Yeah,
So
I mean, I think there's some of that, and I think it's different with the current generation being raised online and having social anxiety and everything just because of that, and not having the normal social interactions we had. I think
yeah,
it's different from our generation, from the self-esteem movement. Why I brought that up is just we're taught to put ourselves first. We weren't taught to sacrifice ourselves for the greater good. The self-esteem movement is like narcissism, more or less. It's teaching kids the way you feel is important, that you feel good and you feel safe is important. And I don't think
that
that's good,
yeah.
and it doesn't lead to a fulfilling life, and it doesn't lead to being comfortable in your own skin and feeling like a decent person.
But I mean that could also lead to a lot of the modern day movements that are occurring because
Yeah,
it's
one thing leads to another, right?
yes, we're constantly aware of self, and we're constantly the way you make me feel. You transgress against me, yeah, by
Yeah,
shutting off the bathroom for my preferred pronouns.
yeah,
So yeah, I really I think that has harmed our society. Yeah, for
yeah.
sure.
Well, I think if there's a theme of this podcast, whether it just be us talking or with Mark, one of the biggest themes is how narcissistic the modern left is and how being all about yourself is so harmful and it leads to all these stupid ideas. But yeah, I just don't like it and I feel shame. I know it's really not our fault the way that we were raised. And it's not even our parents' fault for doing what they thought was right. And but do you feel a sense of shame looking back? Like, don't you think, oh God, when I did those things, when I thought that way, I really just wish I
100%,
would have been smart.
100%. I can reference like when I was in college and I would write a paper on a specific topic and I was really emotional about it, and then I thought about it like 5 years later. why were my views that way? That doesn't
Yeah.
make any sense. So, it's also this going along with that kind of self esteem, but pushing it down our throats. I really thought by now I would have fallen into quicksand or needed to stop, drop, and roll as well.
She
So
thinks that never. Yeah. Oh God, they stress that in kindergarten. Stop, drop, and roll. Like not one time have I ever had to do it. And if you think about it, it probably makes more sense if there's gonna a fire. You're probably in like a house,
yeah,
and it makes more sense to just get the fuck out of there.
right,
Yeah,
right,
that stop, drop, and roll. God, that's why attention, everybody, especially if you're young, stop and think about the things that you're told and why you're told them. Because chances are a motherfucker is just telling you something for their own benefit. And that if you think about it and zoom out, there's probably a more rational way to approach every situation. Because stop, drop, and roll was taught to all of us. And it makes no fucking sense except for a certain very narrow situation. And the odds of you being in that are so slim. The fact that we were all taught that Josh and I, growing up in different places, going to different schools, know what that is. Think about what you're learning today. You're learning some stupid bullshit too that just makes no sense when you zoom out.
yeah,
No sense. Stop,
and
drop, and roll is bullshit. Quicksand. I mean, we don't live in South America. Last time I checked, and that's probably like the only place, maybe somewhere in Asia, some rainforest place where there's quicksand.
the only trauma that I've ever experienced from quicksand is the never ending story. So
Oh my god! Oh my god! Now that's proper suffering that a child should go through watching the never-ending story.
yeah,
That is the antidote to self-esteem. That is the suffering that you need to become a more complete, grown, mature person. Is watching that as a kid. At least we had that. Oh my God, Atreyu is horse nut. That's even thinking about that today at 42 years old. I haven't seen that movie in decades. It hits you in the chest.
this
It's
Christ.
so freaking sad, man. It is so freaking sad. I can't think of anything like it since. I
No.
mean, if you look at the other classic like fantasy stories, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, something like that, I don't think there's a scene like that.
Uh, George R. R. Martin, he in Game of Thrones, he really like threw the main characters under the bus a lot. So I feel like
Yeah,
that would,
doesn't hit the same
but
way though.
not in the same kind of Never Ending Story is more of like a child nurseries. I don't know. It's a younger generation thing.
Yeah, true, true, true. Yeah, it's not the adult dark fantasy that you see in a
Right.
lot of movies and like especially like video games now. They really lean into dark fantasy. But excuse me, that that's so sad. I'm gonna cry myself to sleep tonight just thinking of Atreyu's horse.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry I brought it up.
Thank
Back
you
to
for
self
bringing that up.
esteem. You need to raise your self esteem a little bit.
Raise my self esteem because it's all about how we feel.
Yeah.
God, but God, just you say how that led to the next generation being more narcissistic. That makes a lot of sense. Just it's so we need to bring it back to it's not about you. It's not about you. And when you look at, I don't know if you've looked in. Do you know who Will McCaskill is? Have you ever heard of him?
I don't.
You've heard of the effective altruist movement?
I have not.
Okay, well, Will McCaskill, some other motherfucker whose name I forget, and I think Peter Singer are like the three creators of the effective altruist movement. Will McCaskill's thing. So he is a professor at Cambridge or Oxford or someplace like that. And he decided he is going to do two things. One, he's going to live on, I believe it was £30,000 a year and give the rest away to charity.
Pounds
That's
is
what he
in
decided to do.
European money, British
Yeah,
money.
yeah, British money pounds, 30,000 pounds, which is I don't know what
How
the
about
transfer rate is, but something pretty
30,000
close.
pounds of
It's
beans?
pretty
I don't
close.
know.
He's living less than half of what he makes, right?
Okay.
And he's giving the rest away to charity. His number two thing was how do I use that money to do the most good? That's what effective altruism is in a nutshell, right?
Oh, yeah.
How you spend your money to get the most good. And if you look at like Give Well as their organization, they say like mosquito nets for malaria is a way that you can get the most bang for your buck as far as lives saved for dollars, right? And why I bring this up is I was listening to a podcast, Sam Harris talking about this, and he's really into the movement. And one of his points is when you do things like this, you feel like real, I guess, self esteem, for lack of a better term. You feel good about what you do and who you are by helping others. This is just kind of inherent in us as human beings.
Yeah.
So rather than try to force this self esteem kind of shit, like, oh, you got to feel good, no, don't be sad, don't be sad. How about you do this? How about you take your effort, your money, and you put it towards helping other people? Then you will feel better, and you'll feel better for a real, actual good reason, right? It's kind of like feeling good from exercise versus feeling good from taking drugs, you know? It's when you feel good from exercise, you're doing something that helps your body, that helps you do something good naturally, that's real rather than just tricking yourself with a drug. Self esteem is just, it's tricking yourself with a drug, and helping others is making yourself a better person through your actions. Do you agree?
That's good stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
Will McCaskill, if there is anyone other than Ion Hersey Ali that's what I would consider a hero of mine, it would be Will McCaskill. The guy also took his wife's last name. That's pretty woke right there. To
That's
be that
pretty
cool
well.
and just be like, I think he did it. I don't know what his name was, but it's probably just a shit name. And he's like, no, no, no. I'm going with McCaskill. It's
I
better.
have I have known somebody that did that, and
Did they have a
you
shit?
know, but
Did they have a shit last name?
yeah, for sure.
Yes, that's probably why. It's probably not trying to help out your wife. You just have a
Right,
shit
right.
last name.
Yeah.
But I don't
But,
know, man. Maybe I'll just wrap a bow on it there. But unless there's something else that you want to add or throw at that,
good stuff. We'll put some links to that Will McCaskill stuff in here, in the podcast,
yeah,
and then on YouTube we can have some links at the bottom. So good stuff. Yeah, enjoyed it.
sounds great. Cheers, mate. I'll
Cheers.
see you later.
See ya.